Welcome back, Fortnite fam. How is everyone doing? My name is Pookie Face, joining you on this glorious Mother's Day. These are the games we've waited for. We are looking at the second half of NA West, but in order to do that, I need some casters. I've got Bala, I've got Sundown. Boys!
What up?
Hello.
Hey Pookie, thank you so much, greatly appreciated. Here we are for the Fortnite World Cup Online Open Qualifiers week number 5. Now we're above that 50% range in terms of the player pool for the solos. NA West has 2 spots up for grabs, Bala. I mean, now that battle towards the top, it's getting real tight.
Yeah, who knows? Sented's not up there, but the players that are, they're doing really well. I can't wait to get to them. Let's go ahead and head into the games.
Yeah, let's get right on into it. And again, don't forget, if you want to follow along at home, you can load up your Fortnite client on your phone, Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, whatever you're playing it on. Set your region to NA West and then click that compete tab. Go to week 5 and all of those games will be on there. Anybody with a flashing red light is in a live game, and we're hopping on board here with Fusion Trunks, as there's now 39 players remaining. As the window open, begins the rat-a-tat-tat spray of the drum gun, and he takes down world's best gaming Pika. Again, as we get towards this back half of the lobbies, towards the end of the queue times, every one of these eliminations, particularly on players who are upward towards that top spot, becomes that much more critical. It's not only about getting into the placement threshold, it's about eliminating and outperforming the other players who are trying to get one of those 2 spots.
Taking out Pika there, that's huge. Pika was top 5 in this situation. That means he's not going to be able to earn any more points. That means you're not competing against him. Possibly. Depends how he does in the future games. But now, we are sitting near one of those sky platforms. It does have those vertical slipstreams. So a lot of rotation options definitely available here. Going into that first moving zone as this half in, half out closes. J-Rose pressuring with the drum gun, trying to find people on the edge of zone, the gatekeeping. I mean, we've seen them in the oh, he drops one in, the traps come in as well. And that's the end of this player. He's going back to the lobby. Mr. Libble is gone. J-Rose, that was quick and unexpected. I don't think he realized that that player was going to fall in there, but they're good reactions to recover from it.
Yeah, it looked like he was double editing up almost to just check with the hope that maybe he dropped somebody down. But even if it wasn't 100% expected, still fast enough with the traps coming down. Libble not able to find the correct corner to stand in there to avoid the damage. Now, as we hear that storm moving sound, we hop on over to Maximo. Another one of those players up there on the leaderboard pulls out his drum gun, begins to spray towards the rotation, and is trying to find the sky platform and using it for that horizontal push, not going all the way up, just trying to kind of loot around, see what's up. As you see, a number of players opting to use this, not wanting to use any rotation, but a slightly more capitalistic player, or opportunistic, was posted up top taking shots until the storm pushed him out.
And that's exactly why he was kind of using it for that horizontal movement rather than the vertical movement. It does bring you high. I mean, it's the same kind of altitude as the Riftigos, essentially. But that sky platform, speaking of Riftigos, here we go. Maximo's going to hop in one, but you got to be careful. Again, there was a lot of players who were high up on that sky platform. Are they still tarping out? If they are, they could definitely take shots. They're not too far from that, no. Nobody just then. It's going down into the divot. This elevation change, drastic. And the overhangs make it very difficult to go down if you're not just tarping out.
Yep, that convex angle makes it incredibly difficult if somebody hasn't already built that over. Now you see Maximo trying to follow this player in. A little bit of stuttering going on there, but manages to find his way down and through that tree, and also picking up the elim to push us closer to that top 25 as Peter picks up Cool Guy. Top 25 being that first placement threshold. You see that netting you 3 points, getting the top 15 nets you 2 more for a total of 5. Second through 5th is worth 7, and then the winner, the Victor Royale, takes home 10, plus every elimination being a point, as now we're into the top 20. So everyone's gotten at least 3 points, and Unsightly trying to get whatever shots in he can.
Yeah, I'm surprised he decided to take that low ground opportunity there. There was, I think it was Vide up on high ground and fighting with somebody else. There was an opportunity there, just briefly, but he's gonna choose to go low ground. The low material situation is gonna force him down there. Nice edit to take out Bamboozle, get some materials from it as well. There, 85 builds up, but the edit comes through onto Fern as well. Kind of unexpected there. When players are rotating next to you, you gotta be careful. This is why you wanna own your own lair, because when you make those edits out, you don't want players to be ending up in your box.
Yeah, it seemed like he was looking to play the low ground because he was on that sub 15 builds and didn't have any way to work through, so wanted to use the cover, but now has plenty of builds to work with. And you can also see in these close range fights, Unsightly is crouching. A lot of other players aren't. He goes from standing up to crouching to change the level of his head to make it more difficult, because sometimes the difference is a headshot. The difference is whether it's 26 or 52 coming out of the drum gun that everyone is using.
Oh, and finding that player right on the edge of the build grid really uncomfortably. Couldn't place the wall because it was edited already. He's going to continue to drop in behind players. And another note with the crouching that's definitely in effect right now. Oh, this is old builds of his.
And
Good
notice,
find.
while he's taking the chip damage going through here as well, he's never fully losing, so the Siphon is giving him the advantage, picking up Vizslas there as Vide and Peter also go down, coming up on that last placement threshold before the victory round. And Unsightly wants to drop it, and he does, dropping Trunks right as he opens up the door. Not a delivery you personally want to be catching. Unsightly still sticking with that drum on the low ground. Haven't seen him utilize that combat shotgun yet. Fine Mini picks up Howdy thanks to the storm, switches over, still committing to the drum gun, and he picks it up as Maximo is ticked over the storm in the last second. So Unsightly with nothing but a drum gun and one brilliantly timed rocket picks up the victory royale.
Man, look how far we went, all the way from that sky platform down into the dusty divot. That's how far these zones move. You can see all the mobility options. The launch pads placed all over the place. Very important. Now hopping into the next game. Schlump is fighting for height, but Kayun in the background. He barely missed last time we played solos in week 3.
Unfortunate for Schlump there, the community launchpad being shot out from under him as Level 1 Slaya picks up R7 tunes. So now Schlump forced to utilize his building. And one thing I will note, with all vehicles being disabled, the fossils and the rotations that we've seen from these players, unless they're using the shadow bombs, we've seen so many more tarps and players rotating through and forced engagements around Circle 5 and Circle 6, rather than there being 2 or 3, there's 6 or 7 that are going on. As Schlump takes out Soggies as well, that was another one of those players challenging towards that top 10 in the striking distance of one of those top 2 spots. So big elim there for Schlump, taking that opportunity away.
And finding all that loot as well. Retaking some materials. A moment of calm before the zones start to move all the way. Right now looking for rotation options. Where's he going to go?
Yeah, actually sort of a misplay there. Opted to leave some minis on the ground when he only had 4, so I'm not sure why he decided to do that. Now we're going to hop on board with Sir Demetrius as he takes some of those AR shots, but you need to be careful when you're sitting there poking through the window. Didn't have his side covered. Storm giving him the assist there as William gets ticked over, and Wefik goes down as well. Sir D gets the one trap out, gets the ramp to block him in, and Endo gets taken down.
Barely edges him out, and that's going to pay for it. Goes for the launch pad too, but is it worth it? He is taking a slurp right now, but he's got to find some safety, some cover, so that he can tick it all the way through. Nice build to get up a little bit of a layer. Like I said, getting your own layer there, realizing there's one player down below, building up one. That's sort of a rule of thumb for some of these guys, is always, when you land, just build up one.
Up and over, up and over. You generally don't want to be on the same plane, whether it's a vertical or horizontal. Make people go the extra space over, put a grid space there so you have time to react. Smoothie there, picking up graduation, and then also getting Sage Peek. Demetrius here's the trap arm player, edits the cone, and then covers his wall. Somebody tries to get a replace on the backside. There was a rift. No, it did get committed. The player did go down. Demetrius pulls out the combat, hits one shot, and then just decides to cover off. Rotating forward, needs to find room to pop those minis, and desperately needs to pick up a Siphon. The player right next to him not paying attention. First combat, second combat goes down. DJ Crayon not spinning on the decks anymore. Your show is over. It's the Sir Demetrius show there now as he's ramped up on the mid ground. Top 15 left. Everyone has 5 points. Ryanator on the high ground. Kayun, Knives, Rusian, Pisa, Symmetrical, Delusionist, and now Sir Demetrius all on that low ground as the rotation does close and we move into Circle 8.
See whether or not Kayun can get out of the situation. We talk about moving away from players. This guy is not letting him through. Places the stairs. Now it's going to force the issue. And another player joining the fray gets Rusian and the Siphon, but Sir D comes out of nowhere and takes out Kayun. Now, you heard the combat shotgun in the background. You saw how effective it was in these close range fights. the spam, the speed that you could shoot this at. Gonna take one more shot. No, not gonna happen. Oh my goodness, as the wall came down from the drum gun, Sir D knows the timing. He takes out Slowly. It's now top 8.
Yep, 128 right there with the headshot being enough as he pressed forward. Does miss the edit a couple times, but fine. Nothing doing there. He's just below. Lazarus is spicy, getting himself a box, but Demetrius not letting anybody rest, continuing to fire off those shotgun rounds. Here's the player potting up right there, trying to drop down. No builds left, so he needs to go aggro. Takes Chip, takes some drum gun from the back, and that's Pizzas taking him down as Smooth also gets picked off. 6 players remaining, so one more has to go down. It's Ryanator on ultimate high, Symmetrical on the tarp just beneath him, and Slaya picks up Pizzas, and we're into the top 5. So all about Victor Rouse and Elam Trap will fire, and the revenge is picked up by Spicy. So now Ryanator, Slayer, and Chance Dies. As I said, that Slaya is slayed, and Ryanator versus Chance Dies as we move up Polar Peak.
I'm curious to know. We can see in the mini maps right now exactly. It's not going all the way up Polar Peak, so only this small iceberg here is what Chance needs to get over. Is he going to be able to do even that? That's the question now. Ryanator starting to realize the situation he's in. He's walling him off.
Himself.
Yeah. He's blocked out completely. There's the edit. He's going to make it up finally. But now Ryanator, it's an all-out build fight, but he's running out of materials. Chance has the advantage of materials.
Yep,
the zone's closing soon.
Ryan needs to find a way to press. Chance now going out into the storm, take down to 60, loses HP advantage, and Ryan also has, so he pops the smoke, and he just needs to turn and run, but Chance is just hanging out in the zone. He knows where Ryan is. He loops back through, trying to touch on the zone. Zone goes to full close, and Chance finds him! Chance finds the last shot. Waz the tick was going over. Chance dies. 5 elims, Victor Arel, and he hits him with the disrespectful mistletoe L. That's the only time I think that's disrespectful. I don't think like dancing on anyone, but the mistletoe one, just that little ring, like come on. I just feel like don't ring a bell in my face. That's rude.
Take the elf.
Oh, take the elf.
Yeah.
So great.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Speaking of great players,
I was about to say,
that was not a segue at all.
Like, where are we going with that one?
Speaking of great players,
I was gonna say maybe if you're doing a Legolas type of thing, like I know there was a meme out there with that, but now Scented using those dual swinging axes, one of my favorite new animations going through, trying to deliver a present, having nothing doing, swaps over to that rare suppressed SMG. We talk about it being one of the best guns in the game for piercing through builds, just behind the heavy sniper, and now the drum gun as well picks up Cameron Canada.
And has that RPG right now, reloading it. Good position for him, redeploy, and a rift to go. So we talk about rotation, we talk about mobility. That's the key right here. First moving zone has been revealed, that half in, half out, closed. Where is it going? Over the block. And it's, right now it's that little lake house, right?
I believe so, yes. Did just get switched up towards the end of last week. Hello? Hello? Stop holding an edit. Everything has already been edited around, and we've seen players do that when they're caught off guard, get stuck holding a particular edit.
Oh, yes!
He did it! Oh, so brilliant. On to Arkham. Follow, break it down. What do you do?
Yeah, and immediately as he got over that box, he knew he wanted to break him down. Took the RPG, shot it in the corner. It's not going to do damage to you, but it is going to break the entire box. So he falls right on top of him and gets the tac shotgun. Then the rift to go, picks up the minis or shadow bombs. I'm not sure which one, and then just flies off.
Yeah, and so why does it not do damage to you for some of the people at home who might not have seen that play before?
Yeah, the line of sight on the pyramid, all the way in the corner, that range as well. So both things adding up to not doing any damage. Well, now we can say, speaking of elves and Legolas and all that, here's the boombo. I was going to say, we haven't seen this much. We saw it a lot yesterday, but not really today. I think people are starting to feel things out, the utility. Which ones are they going to carry?
Well, I mean, just from this high ground situation, as we saw on my post, putting down Gulkio, a lot of these players, again, are preferring. We talk about the versatility of the drum gun, how there's not really anything better than it right now. I mean, minus a couple of few occasions in this circumstance, the one thing that does something better than a drum gun might very well be that combat shotgun. We've seen the players when they're up in the sky kind of get picked out like clay pigeons. So when you're almost forced to pick between having a drum gun and a combat and then having the 3 utilities. So right now, like Pulse doesn't have any utility. No Shadow Bomb, no redeploy, and I would drop a Boombo for that.
Yeah, 100%. Did do some work with the Boombo, finding 1 elimination and a few tags, but that's not going to be enough. Now Scented has taken high ground from him, and he's low on materials. He's not going to be able to last the rest of the zones. He's going to continue firing off those arrows. Yes, finds Leno. Qualified in duos last week. Not just yet in solos.
And that was for top 15 as well. So an additional 2 points. You have Atlas just below Pulse, getting a tag on him with the tack, but it was just the side pellet, not taking too much damage, just the 24 tick as he gets forced down into the low ground. Now, did not have the heavy sniper reloaded, but gets gifted an elim there by Siosef. And then all the mats coming into him there. Not too much, just getting the 15, but actually not getting it in the middle, so just an additional 10 and trying to run over and play a little bit of Loot Goblin, that elim he saw.
He needs to find some time here to reload this. Exactly what he's going to do. Finally does get that reloaded, and the drum gun spam is going to come in there. He's happy now. He's ready to wait. And this player, unfortunately, is definitely...
And he has to come out. Yep, it was Luckin
no
getting
chance.
picked up there, as now we're into the top 7. Nibs picks up Miv, excuse me, and then gets traded out right away. So now, So we've talked about it, players utilizing the sniper basically as a pump, because hey, it's 150 to the body, 300 plus to the head, so why not throw the little flick there? Oh my Pulse, oh my indeed. 8 eliminations coming out from him, dragging his way into the top 5 level as well. Already a 15-point game. Scented now, working his way top down in your top right. Pulse still on that low ground in the bottom right. You see Riversun, the previous and first qualifier, coming out from week number 1 in a battle with Lunatic. Scented trying to get a piece of that, as I'm Truth is also roaming around. Riversun gets lit up, and Scented now firing rockets towards the below, but Pulse has that boom out, looking for a little bit of that explosion. Instead, heavy snipes through the wall, doesn't find anything as Scented picks up Truth, and then Lunatic picks up Riversun. Pulse drops traps on both sides, but doesn't need it. Picks up Lunatic and catches the rocket right away. Scented was trying to follow that up. Pulse now has control of the zone with the drum, but Scented gets high ground back above him. No builds on Pulse. Scented with the tack goes out and challenges, and he finds it. Liquid Scented, that's a big swing right there, bumping himself up. That's an additional 4 points that he's going to get. Pushes him just above Oh My Pulse personally. Bala, I mean, brilliantly played from both of them there.
Yeah, and we saw actually that little engagement where they were build fighting for height there. That was the difference. Scented took the height, and then from there he played it out very slow, cautiously. That's exactly the type of style that we expect from him. And it's going to be the difference. 17-point game from him, but Oh My Pulse also had quite a performance there, probably up there in terms of how many points he got.
That was a 15-point game for him there, sitting on the 8 elims and then getting second place as well. Not sure if he actually got a 9th elim, might have gotten one more there at the end, but now hopping on board, player that Lupo has called out a number of times, Domo, someone else who has risen up there, keeps challenging in towards the top 10, looking to do a little bit of gatekeeping here with that epic AR, and he finds Vame.
Domo is one of the players that impressed me the first week in the solos, in the semifinals. He was one of those guys that just didn't give up. There was one clutch that he had. He was way down a mountain. Everybody was like, oh, he's out. The player was taking the L on him. It was like, no chance, it felt like. But no, Domo said, no, guys, look, I still got this. See if he's going to be able to do it in this game, if he needs to pull out the clutch.
Also, one interesting note right there, opting to run the rare tack over the combat shotgun there, ran back over, decided he's going to keep his tack, still having the drum gun there, as we've seen. Timbers try hard now with rare AR, uncommon suppress SMG, uncommon tack shotgun, and then the boogies. Seeing a lot less boogies now that the ballers have been out of play. So interesting to see if he opts to use those aggressively. Also less boogies because there isn't the one-shot potential, right? That means even though if you do get the first shot on him, you get an advantage, it's not a guaranteed elim since these players are able to line up that headshot now that the pump has been vaulted. So a little bit of dual-fold reason we haven't seen it as much. We'll be interested to see if he can apply it here. As we see that 6th circle moving, he's gonna look to find what his best, doesn't opt. Yeah, I thought he was going to go down for one of the community ones. Instead, opting to play it safe, using his own.
It was on wood, so it could have a very easy chance. Oh no, he's going to land in somebody's box. That's Spectro. He goes down. Spectro was our #1 player in the semifinals yesterday, so try hard now. Opting to land in his box. He get the wall too. That player forgot. Unfortunately, crit. That's going to be the end. Another guy coming in. Tried to pinch, but another one as well. The boogie comes in. Sundown. This is the perfect case. Is it going to work out? Yes. Takes out Michael and another player coming in from the top. Yeah. Now, finally, some time to loot. Going to get the materials back up to 113. Moving forward now. 26 players alive. He needs one more. If he went down, any one of those players lost opportunity to get those 3 placement points from going into the top 25.
Yep, and you see Tim Yoshi going down there to the Storm. Unfortunately, he is going to miss out on it as everyone else is forced to use whatever rotation they can. Domo now waterfalling down is going to be forced onto Metal very soon as we're into the top 20. Toxic plays, picks up scissor licks there. Domo now working over to that far side of the Storm and then wants to turn. So he's building out early, using a lot of his mats to try and get an opportunity to get an elimination.
Yeah, but he was doing a mat saving technique there where he was tunneling out, but he was placing stairs behind him to cover. Instead of placing a roof, he was placing just stairs. So really good play from Domo. That's the kind of difference that'll make it. You talked about how he's low materials, not anymore.
Yep, top 15 now has 2 more points end up coming out now. You have Moni and Toxic on that mid tarp with Caminus just above as he comes down. There is another player on ultimate high and a lot of players now on that low ground as 2 get pulled up. You have Claps being pressured by Domo with that drum. He is well inside that comfort rage, having 200 rounds left in that drum as he turns.
And I love that he started getting pressured. Somebody was knocking on his door. Nice pickup there. As soon as he got pressured, he immediately edited the side door, make sure that guy's not going to continue shooting at him, and then went right back at it. The reset so quickly to stay safe. Now top 10.
Yeah, and you can see him trying to extend the length of that shadow bomb by jumping off the walls. Unfortunately, drops it a little bit there as Axie gets pressured by Moni with that combat, looking to just pick whatever shots he can, being as accurate as possible. The player for Loki trying to find an angle, trying to find whatever he can as we're in the top 9. Caminus picks up Erk, great edit, re-edits back, swaps to the drum, sticks with it, and Pars goes down as well. 51 points now for Moni.
Can he find the materials? He's going to need it because it's going to go over towards that hill, looking at the zone right now.
5:15 now on the medium ammo after picking that up. Like we said, the drum gun has 3 things that are kind of like a drawback for him, but you're able to mitigate it just by how the late game plays out. So these competitive players prioritizing it, you can see the pressure coming out, and Moni needing to get away. Like we said, at least 1 over and 1 down. He drops 2 over, or 2 down and 1 over, creates the space as Tralala picks up Domo, so that's 2 more points for Moni just from the engagement.
But the issue, he burnt through all of his materials, and when we look at the zone in the bottom right, it's going up that mountain, so top 4 now as Joel takes out Archive, and Moni has to break through this metal. That's unfortunate. It's going to take a lot of time, but no ticks just yet. Caminus takes out Touche just then, and Moni now breaking him out. Possibly he's looking for any opportunity to get up. Remember, only 1 build. Oh, he breaks him down, takes out Caminus. 1 more player up. He's probably way up.
He found the launch pad though, but the other player comes down and challenges right as it gets on the high ground. Not sure why Joel went. I think he was also below the mountain, just didn't have enough space. Opts to drop down, but in the end, not enough. Gets picked up by that combat shotgun shot. Moni with a great victory royale coming there. Pookie, what'd you think of that?
These games coming out of NA West have been absolutely electric. Oh my pulse, I cannot take it. That heavy snipe, no scope. I have Zeke here, going to be breaking down some replays. Promise me we will get a second look at that snipe.
I will not disappoint you. I promise.
You're the best. You're the best.
Let's take a look at some of this replays we're hopping in. First off with Unsightly. I wanted to highlight this for just a couple basically the reason is Unsightly's game sense here was insane. This guy just every single moment knew exactly where to be. He first takes out Fern, all right? Remember, he started on 1 elimination and then it's just back to back. He's just waiting, biding his time, waiting for players to make mistakes and then immediately capitalizing on them. What's cool here is he even opts to take fights in close quarters, that in a lot of situations, you just have to be really good at doing this. If you're not great at fighting, like in someone's face, you're gonna mess up. Here, that was sick. Just being like, I'm just gonna fire this rocket. I know this guy's gonna walk out. You like it. Now, unfortunately, he did not pick up the victory out, but of course, there was this nice little cheeky point blank one. I'm sorry, he did pick up the victory out. I said not, he did. Boom. Awesome. Now, Sir Demetrius, this guy went on a spree as well. Left and right. Now, Sir Demetrius, that play drops the trap point blank and says, you're going to fight in my box and you're going to fall to me or you're going down to this trap. And of course, he comes out on top. Now, he did not win this game, but he just popped off. Even taking down KU in the crossfire. It was absolutely unbelievable.
Wow.
And I mean, this is the level of quality we have in these games, right? These guys, this is what they've trained for. You guys called it out, Sundown Bala. Lunatic, you are one, because that was so incredibly dope. In case you missed it, like they talked about, the line of sight, they're hiding behind the cone to mitigate damage. On the other end, this did not, it would have been the same, it didn't quite work out. As Symmetrical was not far enough back, so they trade each other out with a trap. And of course, the oh my pole snipe. Let's watch that one more time. You know we have to. The player goes for the edit.
Yes.
I love that he went for the shot. That's exactly what you got to do in those situations. You just have to try, and this, guys, the tracking on this player. So he hears it behind him, 180, and remember, toward the very end of the shadow bomb, you actually are visible. So the moment he heard him land behind, he jumps overhead, 180, and in that moment, you have to be precise. And Chance showed off he is. So pretty intense. The oh my pole snipe was dope. That's very hard to do. I mean, let's be honest, like your crosshair is basically the size of the screen at that point.
It's the size of essentially the screen or even the box that the player was coming out of, you know? The accuracy that he had to have to be able to pull that off, absolutely incredible. Now, these guys are playing out of their absolute minds right now. There's only 2 spots that they're playing for in NA West, and it shows. These games today have been absolutely incredible. We have a couple more games coming up.